everyone, welcome back. It's the Louis Vuitton Princess, and today I'm going to be filming probably just like a couple videos that you guys have requested. So if there's a video here on YouTube land that you would like to request, please just reach out to me on Instagram at the Louis Vuitton Princess to request whichever videos. So I want to start off by saying, I apologize that sometimes it takes me a really long time to film the videos that you guys request. I don't want people to feel like I'm ignoring them, because it's really annoying to me when people ask for suggestions and then they don't follow through on it. So, just reiterating that, like, I get all of these suggestions, I get everything that you guys send me, and I actually have a whole folder on my phone that's literally just full of suggested content ideas that you guys have given me. But sometimes life gets crazy and hectic, and so I just don't really have time to get into doing it like right then. But when I do have a little bit of time, I will get around to doing it. So right now I'm honestly just like really tired because I've been volunteering for a lot of the day. But as you guys can see, the lighting is perfect in here, so I figured this would be a really good time, an opportunity to get some of this stuff filmed. So one of the videos that multiple people requested, and that's why I'm going to film it first, is seeing more of the Louis Vuitton series Cherry Bucket PM. So here she is up close. This is from the 2005 Takashi Murakami Cherry collaboration under the creative, guise of Marc Jacobs. So this is a 2005 collection. I always mention that because this is a collection that is pretty highly replicated, and you see a lot of the replicas out now because it's a collection that has had a surge in popularity in this kind of like Y2K rebirth era. The reason why I always really stress and emphasize that it's a 2005 collection is because one of the very first things you can do to authenticate these bags is looking at the date code and seeing what year it says it was made in. Again, you can't just use date codes to authenticate, but it's like if you look at the date code in one of these bags and it says it was made in, 12, you can put two and two together. Again, I don't say for a certain that you'll never find one that has a date code that varies from 2005. There are anomalies to everything, but to my knowledge, these were only produced in 2005. So if you're looking for one of these bags, the cherry bags, and you see a date code that like really is just kind of off timeline wise, I would say avoid it and always get second opinions on your authentications. So as mentioned, this is the bucket PM. I've had both the bucket GM, not in this print, but in traditional monogram. The cherry collection was only made in the PM size. But I have had the bucket GM and PM for comparison. I sold my bucket GM. I don't know, like it was a really cute bag. I really liked how it fit on me. I only paid like, I think, $200 for it. It was really, really cheap and in good vintage condition, but I ultimately sold it because I didn't really like how it fit. Like it was a very long bag. It just it didn't really fit how I wanted it to fit as a shoulder carry bag. So that's ultimately why I decided to sell it. But I did keep the PM because I do like how the PM fits as a shoulder carry bag. So some general features of the bucket PM. One of my favorite features about it is it does have feet. Again, this is a bag that has a lot of unique features, so it can be pretty easy to scout out fakes. It does have a lot of feet. The cherry detailing is also done really well. So if you're gonna see these bags and like the cherry detailing essentially does not look like this, that's another pretty telltale sign. And I've noticed on a lot of the replica versions of the cherry collection bags, the detailing on the cherries usually looks awful. It's usually what gives it away to me without looking at literally anything else, is the detailing looks awful. And again, the cherries were designed by Takashi Murakami, so there's a lot of detail on the cherries. It's not just a red cherry with, a green stem. There is quite a bit of detail and coloration to the cherries. So I'm going to actually pull out my bucket pouchette to sort of show you that, just because you can see it a little bit closer. But you can see by looking at it up close, you know, the cherries, they're kind of like this light red shade at the bottom. They have blue eyes. You know, there's like a little reflection on them. They kind of ombre to a lighter color at the top. There's kind of like a blue stem and a green stem. So there's a lot of detail going on with the cherries themselves. So like that's something that can kind of be a giveaway too when you're looking for these, is if the cherries just look too poorly done and the detail and the coloring isn't there, avoid it. So some general features about the Bucket PM. You have just the bucket bag itself. You have this vachetta trim at the bottom. You have feet on the very bottom, and you have these shoulder straps that are removable, so you can actually take these shoulder straps off. They have buckles, so they're removable, and you have this top trim that goes around the perimeter of the bag. So that's just the general sort of makeup of the bag, and there are seams on each side of the bag. Yeah, and currently I have featuring my little Takashi Murakami Vachetta Panda, which is usually how I style this bag when I wear it. So this bag can be carried as just like a kind of top bag. It can be worn on the shoulder very comfortably. Again, that's why I got rid of my GM bucket. I just didn't feel like it fit as comfortable on the shoulder. So you look inside the bag, and another thing that kind of just like takes your breath away is it has this beautiful red interior because it's from the limited edition collection. And I already kind of showed you guys this little surprise, but there were pouchettes that came with the original bucket bag. So this is the Louis Vuitton bucket pouchette. I don't think I've filmed a YouTube video about this yet. I know I've made some content on Instagram about this, but this is kind of like the forgotten Louis Vuitton pouchette essentially. So in the world of Louis Vuitton pouchettes, you have the Pouchette Accessories NM, which is the newer model Pouchette Accessories. Has features of, it's a little bit bigger than the original Pouchette Accessories, and it has a longer shoulder strap. You then have the Pouchette Accessories, which again, it's the original Pouchette Accessories. It has the shorter shoulder strap. You often see it used with the strap extender. Then you have the bucket pouchette, and then you have the mini pouchette. So the bucket pouchette is a little bit bigger than the mini pouchette. Again, it has the same general makeup as all the other Louis pouchettes. This, you know, chain at the top, it's a different chain than on the rest of the pouchettes. You can see different kind of design chain, and the clasp is also a bit different. But this is the Louis Vuitton bucket pouchette. This one was made in France, as you can see. And I also just think these pieces are so cute because they also have the red stitching. So you can see this like really pretty red stitching. And this piece, we'll find the date code in here. Yeah, so it was made in France in January of 2005. So our date code is right here. So again, these were 2005 pieces. If you pick up anything from the Cherry collection, or you're looking at anything from the Cherry collection, and it says it was made in a year that's like drastically different from 2005, that tells you what you need to know. But anyways, I share the pouchette, the bucket pouchette, to share with you. I actually brought my bucket pouchette and my bucket separately. And that is because in today's day and age, because this collection is so old, I mean, we're talking, what, 17 years at this point. Because this collection is so old, a lot of the buckets are no longer with their original pouchettes. A lot of people, you know, over the years, maybe they, you know, fell on hard times, they sold the pouchette, they wanted extra money. Again, this was a Louis Vuitton collection that kind of died out. As I've said, it died out and it had a revival. As I said, this is my second bucket pouchette, and bucket PM from this collection. The first bucket pouchette and bucket I purchased in this collection, I paid I think like $350 for the bucket and the bucket pouchette. Yeah, so if you're familiar with this collection, you know that's like pretty insane. So this was a piece that I had to rebuy. I had to rebuy both of these, and I paid a lot more the second time rebuying. I don't even want to say it because it just hurts, to be honest. But, you know, this is another one of those prime examples of like, just buy and keep what you like, because just because people don't like it then, it doesn't matter. If it makes you happy, be happy. And pieces have a revival. The 2010s, there was kind of this era where like a lot of the Murakami stuff was out. You know, people started to view that it was childish, it wasn't high fashion. And then we had this like revival of like, I don't know, like complex, supreme, hype beast, like, you know, I forget what the other entity is called, but like we had this revival in like pop culture art, pop culture music, and the revival and fusion between like pop culture and high fashion, pop culture art and high fashion. So now that we're living in this era, all of these pieces have suddenly become super valuable and super sought after. So again, it's like, just buy what makes you happy and keep it. Like, don't sell stuff or get rid of stuff or not buy stuff just because other people don't like it, because the times change. But anyways, so these pieces did actually come together once upon a time. Most of the time when you see these now, they are not selling together. And so this is information that I like to tell people, because you really have to kind of assess that when you buy this piece, because this piece, again, the bucket pouchette came with the bucket PM at retail. And I don't know what the like approximate number was for these back in the day when it launched, but it's a bucket PM and bucket pouchette. Like, I doubt it was that expensive. Like, these probably were not that expensive. So, you know, you have to really factor that in when you're buying these pieces in the modern day, because it's like, if somebody's selling you the bucket and they're selling you the bucket only without the pouchette, and, you know, they're asking like $2K, which I see regularly, you're getting ripped off, because I'm sure these new with the bucket pouchette were less than $2K. And the same thing, I occasionally see people selling the bucket pouchettes, and, you know, they're selling them for like $700, $800, $1K. Again, I'm sure the set new was probably not much more than that. Now, I'll also note, this is something that throws people off in this collection. This collection does have a pouchette accessories as well. So this is the bucket pouchette. There is also a pouchette accessories in the series collection that, you know, is a little bit larger than this, and it has a leather, traditional leather pouchette accessory strap. I say this to say, because I've had people try to tell me that this set was fake, and they've tried to tell me that this set was fake off of like the pouchette wasn't the right size. I've seen that conflict happen many times, where I've been accused of this set being fake, or I've seen a seller or just somebody else being accused of the set being fake, because people are like, that's not a real pouchette. The pouchettes don't come in that size. It's a pouchette accessories. When no, beloved, they made a bucket pouchette that came with the buckets, and there was a pouchette accessories. I've gone back and forth about getting the pouchette accessories from this collection, but it's like, I honestly just don't really feel like I need it, simply because it's like, I already have the bucket pouchette. And I have quite a few pouchette accessories, and so it's like, it kind of would just be like a massive redundancy, essentially, having a bucket pouchette and a pouchette accessories from this collection. It would just seem like a lot. But nonetheless, that's enough ranting about the bucket pouchette. Just again, keep this in mind if you buy this collection in this day and age, that if you're not getting the full set, you have to really factor in the pricing, because people kind of take advantage of that. And I've also seen, I promise I'm going to end this rant soon, but it's like, I also see the sellers where like, they'll keep the bucket pouchette for themselves, and then they still sell the bucket. And it's like, I'm not saying you can't sell your own stuff how you want to, but it's also just like, you need to be fair in your pricing. And like, sellers, they don't have to be fair, but it's like, as buyers, you just need to be aware of this, so you're not just like getting ripped off, essentially. So anyways, now we're gonna move to the interior. So I actually have an organizer in here. This bag actually is nicely organized, but I have the organizer in here simply because it helps to maintain shape. So this is a little bucket PM organizer that I found on Etsy, and you know, it's great that it comes in red because it matches the bag very well. And so this is stuff in here. As you guys can see, I use my bags because there's stuff in here. So anyways, so this is the interior of the bag. It's red, as I showed you guys. It's a red leather, and there are compartments on each side. So on this side here, we just have a pocket. It's a decent sized pocket, and there's no zipper. It's a vachetta lined pocket. Then on this side, the opposite side, we have a pocket that is zippered, another really nice sized pocket, and it does have a zipper section, which I really like that, just for like, you know, you can kind of have your grab and go stuff in one side, and then like, you know, your items like your wallet and whatnot in the other side that's a little bit more secure. And I really like the feature of having a zippered section in a bag, like a bucket that doesn't have a zipper. I do really like that. So then our date code is actually here on this little D-ring that we have our bucket pouchette connected to. So here's our date code. And again, this is the same date code as our bucket pouchette, made in France, January of 2005. So once again, just really emphasizing that this was a collection that was made in 2005. Again, I will just say this too. This is something that like really alarms people for some reason. So I'll probably make another Louis Vuitton myth busting series where I'll talk about this. Louis Vuitton pieces can have the same date code. For some reason, you know, people really try to do all of their authenticating off of just date codes and date codes alone, and you can't. The whole thing I told you about 2005, that's just kind of like a hack. That's not really like authenticating. It's just like a side note of what to look out for. But for some reason, there's like a myth that like two Louis Vuitton pieces can't have the same date code. So again, it's like, what is a Louis Vuitton date code composed of? It's 2 letters and 4 numbers. The 2 letters are a country code that stands for the country that the bag was produced in. You can look up Louis Vuitton country codes. I think Yugi's has the one I usually use, and there's a bunch of different websites. And then the 4 numbers that follow, so in this sequence, you have the first number, the third number. They are the month that the item was produced in. Now, this is for older items, because for newer items, it's done by the week. So older items, you're going to be looking, you know, January through December. So 01 to 12. Now it's based on the week of the year. So there's a very wide number that you could have. And then you have digits 2 and 4, which represents the year that the item was produced. So again, this date code was FL. That is the country code for France. 01, that's January, and 05, that's 2005. So 2 items can have the exact same date code. Date codes are not serial numbers where like it's a unique identifier to a certain piece. It is simply just saying which country the item was made in, what month it was made in, and what year it was made in. And for a collection release like this, where pretty much it was a collection that only really released for like a year, it was a very short release, it makes a lot of sense for the bulk majority of the items to have like nearly the same date code within a couple months of each other, even because a lot of it was produced around the same time. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed getting to see the Cherry Bucket PM and Bucket Pouchette. And, you know, thank you guys for being patient with me. This was a highly requested video. I had quite a few people who have been saying for a while that this was a piece that they wanted to see. So hopefully I answered all your burning questions. And if I didn't answer the questions that you had about this piece, as always, you're welcome to reach out to me on Instagram at the Louis Vuitton Princess. And if you'd like to shop, source, or consign with me, you can reach out to me on Shop LV Princess on Instagram.